So I'm on our course page on As You Learn, and I'm going to walk through this so you can see how the course site is set up. First of all, we've got a graphic up here that's comprised of images that are taken from student websites from previous courses. So that's what that image is up at the top there. You can see my email address. You can click on that to send me an email should you have any questions or need to communicate with me. And then I will try to link my weekly schedule later as I've got it finalized so that you can see kind of where I'm at each week. If you want to set up an appointment with me, then you want to go over here and take a look at my schedule first, and then send me an email, let me know when I have an opening, when you would like to meet with me, and then we can set that up. So here's where you can check back on announcements, and those will be sent to your AppState email account, but you can always go back and read them here. Any late assignments will need to be submitted in this section. So once the due date is over, that submission area will close and you will have to upload any late assignments to this area, and then just shoot me an email also so that I know you've submitted there, because I won't be informed that you submitted anything there. So it helps me if you just let me know and give me a heads up if you submit something late there. Under helpful resources, you can see that our course syllabus is available for you to read and download and print out. And I really encourage you to go ahead and download and print that out for your reference. I'm not going to go over that line by line, but you do need to read over the course description, materials that are needed. Our textbook is listed here as well. There's also an optional reading there that if you're interested to learn more about HTML and CSS, is an easy read and has some helpful hints in that book by John Duckett. And then you do need to have a flash drive or a Google Drive to store all of your assignments for this class. So don't just store them on your campus computers or wherever you're working. Make sure you back up everything in your own drive. So that's really important so you don't lose all of your files. You will need access to some kind of digital camera to generate original files. And then I also recommend having some kind of sketchbook or notepad, so even when you're watching my videos, you can take notes as it's going on, and that would be really helpful as you're watching. So in this course, we are really trying to learn more about web design in the graphic communications industry, and you will also be learning about how to communicate with your peers as well as with industry professionals pertaining to web and graphics. So you're going to be creating appropriate multimedia files using the Adobe software, and you'll also be doing research-based design about websites using some HTML and CSS. So there will be some readings provided as well as the readings from the Against the Clock textbook. Please read over about what is required as far as deadlines and submission. You will be deducted points for late submission, so make sure you read over this section about deadlines. And then if you keep scrolling, you'll see the breakdown for the points for the projects, final projects, discussion, quizzes, and they will total up to 100 points. Also, on the last page of the syllabus is our overview assignment schedule so that you know when the module is going to be opened and when each assignment is going to be due. I have also provided that sheet as a separate place underneath the course syllabus, the course schedule overview, just because I've had, I think, some students last semester who didn't know that this was available. Maybe they didn't scroll through on the syllabus, but there it is as a single PDF page there so that you can print that out too and look at it on our course page. Then there are instructions for the Against the Clock textbook. Once you purchase it, you'll need to go to the website that's linked here in gray and download. You need to register and download the graphic files that you will need to do the tutorials and the assignments for this class. Again, that is required. And then there's a link to our Google Plus community here, which looks like this. Once you join, you can go to the Happy Clouds resources, and there's our mascot, Bob Ross, and I'll talk more about that after this overview on As You Learn. You can watch this short clip here. Then not so happy help is if you have any questions, you can post here in this Google Plus community for the entire class to see, so that if they have similar questions, or they can join in and chime in with any helpful resources or answers to your questions. And then I will provide and post the professional site groups below here on this community after those groups are formed. So jumping back to our As You Learn course page, and so that is required in part of your participation grade. Make sure that you do check back and communicate on that Google Plus community, especially once you form your groups in that project in the final projects, because I will be checking to make sure everyone in the group has participated in that. There's also a final project website sample for our Bob Ross Gallery of Happy sites, and you can look at previous semesters and what kind of some of the top sites from students in the final project categories: ePortfolio, professional, and responsive sites. And then I'll post kind of the best stuff for this class at the end of the semester there. Zoom video, when I set up a Zoom meeting, you can directly join at this link by just clicking on it. And then I will, going back to the Zoom recordings, underneath Zoom video, I will post the recordings from our meetings here. If you miss a meeting, you can go back and view them there. There's a web publishing document, and that's going to be more applicable in Module 4 when we begin in Dreamweaver. That's when you will be required to actually set up your site, connect to the ASU server, and upload your files to the server so that you have a website using the AppState account. So when we get to that point, you can look over this sheet. You can go ahead and look at it and just review it now so you know what's coming up. But you won't be required to do anything until you get to Homework 6 in Module 4. There's also screenshots provided here if you just want to take a look at the screenshots for how to set that up. There's also in green here, these are optional resources if you want to go to lynda.com or W3 Schools or Coda Academy. These are linked here on our course site. And those are just for on your own if you want to learn more or grab some code and techniques and hints there. Lynda.com is a paid service, but there may be a free trial, so you can look at that if you are inclined to do that. I also have an extra credit here for photography students or those who have high quality photos from the town of Boone. This is for another class that I teach on document design. And if you would like to do that just to help me out for that class, for those classes, you can do this for extra credit. Just keep in mind that these photos will be for print rather than for web. So you will need to use the print specifications, and those are listed out here. That's due April 3rd. All right, so moving down to Module 1. So this is how each module is listed here on the course site. This is just the title of the module. It's not hyperlinked. What is hyperlinked is where it says the module number and start here. So when you see start here, that's a flag for you to go ahead and click here, and then will take you to the page for that module. So I will have further instructions for each module, and then I will try to link out to other places in that module. But they're also provided if you just go to Module 1 and just go down the line. They are listed in order. So you start here, then you'll go to the watch the tutorial videos that are embedded. If you can't view the videos that are embedded, I provided the URL address. You can copy and paste and view those directly in YouTube. So if you go to the assignment sheet will list out the directions for what you need to do for the first assignment. So these are the instructions for what you need to do in Module 1, and then the due date, and then the grade points for that assignment. So then if I go back to Module 1 and go back to the Start Here page, then I can go and see there's a link to the Google Plus community so that you can join that by January 29th. You can view the introduction videos, so these I will be updating these, and the site organization video. And then you can go, there's a link to further Photoshop tutorials. So if you're not that familiar with Photoshop, you may want to go ahead and familiarize yourself by watching those videos. And then in each module, I have a food for thought section. And those images are pork belly buns that I had in New York City. So one of my favorite cities, kind of a Asian foodie, so when you see those images and the Food for Thought logo, that's just kind of a heads up on what's coming up next, some things to think about. It's not anything you need to turn in, but more of just food for thought. So to think about what you need to do for the next module. So, or just additional things to think about for your final projects. So in this case, in Module 1, it's just a heads up about the web hosting, so you can read about that. And if you don't want to use ASU web hosting, there's some other resources that I've used before that you could consider. And then you can go directly to the ASU web hosting site if you want to read more about how to set that up. Again, you don't need to do that now, but just kind of a heads up. So going back to Module 1, after you read through the assignment sheet, you'll go to the Discussion 1 Discussion Forum. You'll answer these questions and introduce yourself to other classmates and then respond to another classmate's post. So this will be graded. I'm basically just looking for you to introduce yourself and get to know each other. You don't have to answer all the questions, but just whatever you want to put out there about yourself. So that's really up to you. Then go to the survey and make sure that you answer the questions by January 22nd so I can review and assess where everyone's coming from. And I know that there's a wide variety of backgrounds and experiences in the class, so I want to know where you're coming from, and that will help me. So that's Module 1. Then once you complete Module 1, you can go on to Module 2, and if you feel like you've got time and you complete Module 1 really quickly, go ahead and start on Module 2 and just move on at your own pace. But if you feel good about moving quickly in the beginning, by all means do that, because it will speed up, like I said, when we get to Module 4 in Dreamweaver. So if you can work ahead, that'll be helpful for you so that you don't feel too pressed for time later on. But again, if you've got a lot going on in the beginning of the semester, then that might not work for you. If you're looking at Module 2 and going to the Start Here page, there's the embedded videos. There's some reading that's provided here from the John Duckett reading, and then you'll be assessed by on that reading by the quiz. And here's the quiz 1. There's the instructions for the quiz. Then you'll actually download by clicking on the PDF quiz here, and then you can submit your quiz here. Another way to go through the course, you can also click on the section link. So if you wanted to go directly to Section 2 or Module 2, you can just click on 2. You can also click on the menu on the left. So there's a hamburger menu here, and you can click directly on the modules there, and it will take you to that module. So just some easier ways to go through the modules. So let's skip to Module 3, Homework 3, Master Page and Site Plan. So on some of these, I've embedded the PDF assignment sheet so you can see the rubric and all without downloading the PDF file. But when you view it here, you won't be able to access the links. I couldn't figure out a way to do that with the PDF here on the site. So in order to access these gray hyperlinks, you'll need to download the PDF file, and then when you open the PDF file, you can access these hyperlinks that way. So just kind of FYI, read the directions on the embedded page, review the rubric. That's very important so you know what I'm going to be grading on. You can add your submission here to the submission area. I'm also going to try to include all these as embedded videos so that you have multiple ways to access these videos. So you can go back to the Module 3 Start Here page and view those hyperlinks that are on that assignment sheet right here on this Module 3 page. So I hope that makes sense. So there's different ways for you to view. If you can't view the embedded videos, you can hyperlink out from the PDF assignment sheet, or you can copy and paste the URL address. So I just want to make sure that you don't have any technical issues. So if one way doesn't work for you, you can try one of those other options. To familiarize yourself with what the icons are. These are the assignment sheets, the PDF icon. This one is the discussion forum that you submit some assignments that way. And then these are homework assignments. I've got everything out to Module 9, but I will take you through each module as each module opens up. And again, you can look at the course schedule overview to see when each module officially starts. So they're already open on the site, but I'll be updating the videos when the official module date starts. That's it for the course site. Now I want to take a look at your desktop or my desktop and take a look at how you may want to organize your files. And so this way that you organize your files and folders is really important to when you're uploading to the server. Whatever you have organized on your drive is going to be what's uploaded to your web host server. So right now on my desktop, I have a WIP work in progress folder that I'm going to keep everything for this class in that folder. You can call it whatever you want, but just to keep things simple for me, that's what I've named it. And then when I open this file, I can see I have separate folders for each assignment, for the class, or for different things that I'm working on. So for example, I'm going to go to this portfolio folder, and I have several different sites within this folder. But you only have one index.html page, and this is going to make more sense as you get started. If I take a look at the index.html is going to be your home page, and it has to be named exactly index.html with lowercase I. This is what my index page looks like right now. All of these are hyperlinks, so if I click on one, it will take me to another web page. These are all going to be designed and laid out in Dreamweaver. So on my index page, I've linked 2 other sites. Now, if I've got another page I've called portfolio index.html because I wanted to redesign my index page, but I kept my original index page. So you can't have 2 pages named index.html in your root directory. So that's why I renamed this page portfolio index.html. And then within, on this page, as my index, I've linked out to other websites. So this is another website that I've done. And again, you can see in my root directory here on the browser that it's called scholarshipindex.html because I don't want to get confused with multiple index.html pages. So this one's called, I've renamed it scholarshipindex.html. So now if I look at my folder, here's that index.html page. Here's my portfolio index.html page. If you notice, all my HTML pages are in the same level in my root directory. So portfolio is my root folder, and then in my root folder, I have all my HTML pages at the same level, which means they're not nested in another folder. They're in this portfolio folder. And that's really important when you're looking at URL addresses. If you look up here at your browser, this is going to show me I've got a WIP folder. In my WIP folder is a portfolio folder. Then within that is a scholarship folder. And then within the scholarship folder is that HTML file. Here, I've got the scholarship index page in the scholarship folder. And it's all in this portfolio folder. And this scholarship index page is linked to this portfolio index.html page. Then I have an image folder. So within this scholarship folder, I have an images folder that has all the images that are formatted for this website here. Then all my HTML pages are in this scholarship folder. Again, if this is not making sense to you now, you can always come back and review this video later, and that will make more sense once you get started organizing your site. Here's another example just to show you a sample student site. I have a final projects folder, so when you get to final projects, you may want to create a final projects folder. Then within that folder, I have 3 folders, one for each final project. Final project 1, so this is the name of the student. This is the final project 1 and it's ePortfolio. Then the second final project is the name of the student 2 and it's the professional site. The third one is the name of the student and it's the responsive site. So within each folder, there are all the HTML pages are in the same folder. Then there's one images folder with all of the images inside. And then you may have more as you build your site. You may have a CSS folder, you may have fonts folder, you may have jQueries or other bootstrapped or other things. But for now, mainly you're going to have an images folder, and then your HTML pages are going to be directly in your root folder. This is going to be the root folder for your site. So that's what a root folder would be set up. So for now, just kind of give you an idea of how things should be set up as you go along. Again, it'll make more sense once you get started. And then in the next module, in module 2, you'll be working with file formats using pretty much primarily Photoshop. Then in module 3, you're going to be setting up a site plan. So I will have videos on each one of those models to show you examples and how to do that. So that concludes now our introduction video, how to keep organized with your site, how to go through our course page on As You Learn. So here is Bob Ross, and he's going to sit right here, right next to my computer as I do my computer work and take a look at your websites. Hopefully Bob Ross will help to kind of lighten up this course when things get kind of tedious in Dreamweaver. And also just to kind of balance out, I can tend to be kind of a serious person, so hopefully this will help lighten things up a little bit. I really do enjoy meeting you all in person, so I hope to have the opportunity to do that. Even though this is a large class, I am available should you want to meet with me in person. And I know some of you are going to be fine without meeting me, or not going to need a whole lot of help with you, and you can help from me and just can be really independent. But some of you may really work better with in-person meetings and having a little more heavy-handed guidance. So it's really up to you how much you want to see me and how much you need me in this course. And don't forget to participate. Discussion forums will be graded, so get to know your classmates and really utilize their strengths in this class. I really want this to be a community. Participation is 10% of your grade in this class, so that's really important. By the end of this class, you're going to have 2 complete websites that are going to be linked to a URL address on your App State web host, and then you'll have a responsive site, redesigned site plan. And so let's go ahead and get started.